Hey guys, welcome back to Undefeated at Locals for another episode of Making It Meta. I've got Edgar again here with me. This time, for this episode, we bring you the boy, Mirio Lemillion himself, the new boogeyman of the format. Edgar, what do you have to say about this character here?
We've put some testing into him. He is
sure
going to be a powerhouse in the meta.
Yeah.
So, he basically just runs the punch package better than anyone else currently. So
Absolutely, yeah. Let's get into the running the punch package better. Enhance, your punch or slam attack gets +2 damage. You may change its zone. This enhance is insane, guys. We'll get into it a little bit more as we discuss all of our attacks and what we're changing the zones to. His second enhance is Enhance Commit. Discard 1 momentum. Reduce this attack's damage to 0. This character really reminds me of Kirishima 2, back when he was the boogeyman of the format, in a way that this character can aggress into you without 0 punishment whatsoever as long as he holds the momentum. He can commit everything, extend out against you, way overextend himself, and as long as his character is readied with a momentum underneath him, he is probably impossible to turn to kill for most characters. Of course, Jiro exists out there. There's a lot of decks that can just count to 28 in one shot, but it is a lot harder with the I'm just going to commit myself and make it 0. With the character in mind, we're going to set him off to the side here for you guys as we get into our attack lineup. This is a lean 50-card deck. I truly believe that that's where, especially in the first event, in the Unfun Stuff webcam event that happens tomorrow, I think that's where this character is going to excel. Just build him as an aggro character, draw all of your attacks on turn 2. First up, we have, of course, Back Alley Haymaker being 4x'd in the deck.
so surprising.
Very, very much. Surprise, very wow. Honestly, though, I've actually never seen a character that can abuse this card more than Mirio can. Absolutely insane. You have all of its text that we all know and love so well. EX2, Stun 2, draw 1 card, or build a 0 diff. Of course, that's going to be the same in Mirio. What's not the same is now this is going to hit you as a 4 low for 7. Yeah. What a way to completely break this card, finally, honestly. For the one thing that comes out of Mirio, I am just amazed that we let this character make this attack a low for 7. Absolutely insane. This is almost a must-have for this guy. One of the biggest reasons that I'm running it on the good symbol, honestly, is for this attack. This attack will always be your opener.
Yeah, you get all of the bonuses of the card without its one drawback of being a mid.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, the only drawback to this card ever was that it was a 4 mid for 5. You could get Breaker 2'd pretty easily. Now you're going to punish your rival for attempting to Breaker 2 you.
Yep.
Next up in the list, of course, we are 4xing Texas Smash. This card, again, even more broken than it ever has been in the past in this character, simply because now it's a 4 low for 8, or 4 low for 9, sorry. 4 low for 9, 4 mid for 9 sometimes, if that's the read on your opponent in a competitive match. We all know it, 4 diff, 1 mid block, Fury, Punch, Combo, Punch, Combo Enhance. This attack gets +4 damage, so we immediately make this, again, a 4 high for 7. With Mirio, it's a 4 low for 9. Enhance, discard 1 card. Your next attack this turn gets +4 damage. It's the most important text on this card. Looping these cards, especially in this character, feels just completely game-altering. I've won several local events by this point with this character. And yeah, it's honestly impossible to block several low attacks that are all coming at you for half of your life total.
Yeah, you monozone this.
Yep, monozone the character. Read. It's not always going to be low, of course. It's going to be your read on your rival, what their initial build turn was, what their initial rip was out of their discard pile. From that point on, more than likely, this character is just going to get monozone to one particular zone. Flood them with lows, flood them with highs. They can't possibly block them all unless they're Momo, and then we just have to hit them like 6 times.
Yep.
So yeah, guys, next up in the list, we have finally brought back one of my favorite cards. We're once again 4Xing Harden Jab. Again, the bad part of this card is immediately removed by Mirio. The bad part was that it was the easiest attack to get Breaker 2'd with, and now we make it a 3 high for 7, a 3 low for 7. It's a 4 diff, 1 high block, 3 mid for 5. Enhance, add 1 face down foundation from your stage to your hand. Build the top card of your deck face down. This card's nuts in this character. On turn 2, because the pickup is not a cost, we just get to free build a face down out of our deck. Really amps up the extension. And then for every additional copy that we have, it's just we're resetting that same foundation over and over again. And again, it's not low damage. This is a 3 low for 7 in our character. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
The theme of the deck is that we're once again flooding them with 4 diffs. There's so many insane 4 diff good punches. There's really no reason to run 5 diffs in my opinion outside of Back Alley Haymaker. That's like the most impactful one in the format. I know what you guys, I'm sure you've already are thinking, there's not many cards with Mirio's face on it. I'm going to give you a spoiler. There's a single card with Mirio's face on it in the deck. We'll get to that one later. I honestly don't think you need his attacks. You're really wanting attacks that draw you cards that amp your damage, and then that's what we're focusing on. With the next card, Valiant Assault. Valiant Assault is a 3X in the deck. Most of you guys will know this one. 4 diff, 2 high block, 3 mid for 4. Punch, combo punch. Its combo enhances draw 2 cards. Very relevant right now. This character, the one thing he doesn't have going for him on the good symbol is that he doesn't draw cards on face. So we want a lot of cards in the deck that do just draw us cards relatively for free. The next enhance is if this attack deals damage, you may look at the top card of your deck and add that card to the bottom if you choose to do so. Card is very good, again, for extending against a rival. This comes in 3 high for 6, 3 low for 6, draw 2 cards. If it touches you, I'm going to bottom deck a 3 check. I'm going to keep extending on you.
Yep.
Very, very solid card. Things that you can replace it with, of course, are the card that's just been talked about forever, Rejuvenating Smash. That was going to be what we ran in the deck. Several of us talked about it. Edgar and I talked about it. And then we just realized that, like, why run the 5 diff that we have to play on a 6 when we can run the 4 diff that we play on a 5. It significantly easier to extend on our opponent that way.
Yeah, and you're not looking to block with it. You know?
Yep, yeah, we don't care about Rejuvenating Smash's block response. This deck is definitely, again, Kirishima 2 style of I'm going to actually for real block one of your moves, and then I'm going to make your next move 0, and you're going to ask yourself, is it even worth it to extend into me further? Next up, our last attack, 17 attacks and 50 cards. We're definitely being very aggressive. We have the one card that I feel that we need to extend on a opponent that's trying to build out against us. We have Heroic Strike. It's a 4 diff, 2 mid block, 4 high for 4. Enhanced, your rival commits 1 foundation for each punch attack in your card pool. As you've already seen, that's all of them. That's all of our attacks. This card is super insane when you play it as your 3rd, 4th move. Commit your, like, you're the last release that you've been leaving up this whole turn. Commit your, respond with all your specialists right now because I'm going to commit them anyway. After a Texas Smash, this is like a 4 low for 10 in our character. Very, very good. That's the great part about running all of these 4 diffs. More often than not, in like All Might 3, you'd want more impactful moves. You'd want 5, 6 damage statted moves. In this character, we just give 2 always on face, so our moves are never below 6, which is kind of like the comfort zone of the deck. That's where you want to be. Yeah, this card is really only in the deck to extend on the wall decks, the life builds, the Momos out there. Commit all their resources, make sure that this move is the last one that you have to play.
Yep.
Next up, our non-foundation cards. We're running 3 of them. They're all 3 the same, as I'm sure you guys can guess. It is 3 copies of Capture Evildoers. This card has pretty much existed in every punch deck, as it should. Punch decks have a lot of good momentum outs. We have a lot of EX abilities. We have foundations that use our momentum. And this character in particular, obviously, We are hungry to keep one momentum. I don't often want several momentum, but I don't want you to be able to steal it from me. I want to have an option of stealing it back from you. So this is a 2-diff action, 1 mid-block. Breaker 1. Enhance, remove 1 rival foundation. If you did, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. Remove this card from the game. So that is the most relevant text in the character. Always protect your momentum. Always make sure you have access to momentum. If you ever pass the turn when you don't have momentum, that is like the most vulnerable you'll ever be in the game. Is when you pass into your rival with no momentum, you cannot zero out a move. If we ever have to do that, we want to make sure we have Capture Evildoers on our hand to try to steal it back from them. It has a very relevant form for us as well. Form, discard 1 momentum, discard up to 3 cards from your card pool. Again, a very good extender. If we don't kill them on turn... The turn that you're probably going to kill your rival is on turn 3, turn 4 of this character. You're going to aggress into them turn 2, really punish them for only having built 4 foundations. But then this card can come in clutch on our turn 3, turn 4. Back alley, Texas Smash, clear our card pool, back alley. Very, very good stuff. And again, always want to keep our momentum in play. Without a momentum, I don't know what this character will do.
You guys, pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Into our foundations, I believe I'm only running 1 4 of this time, and it can't be fixed. The easiest 4 of 0 diff in the game. Undaunted Raid brought you a similar 0 diff in Saving Airy. That is definitely an option. It's an option I've seen some people run. Saving Airy is a response on stun to re-ready that 1 card. Where it can't be fixed, says response flip after your rival commits any number of cards due to your rival's effect, or after you commit any number of cards due to your rival's effect. Build the top card of your deck face down, playable while committed. Airy readies a foundation. This is a net gain 1, so I value this card way more in an aggro deck than I would ever value Saving Airy. If you can run both, absolutely do it. This is a 50-card deck, though, so it's the same slot in our deck, and I would definitely rather this slot be taken up by something that builds me a foundation. Once I have this built, it's honestly very hard for my rival to even want to stun me unless they really think they're going to punish me on that turn. Giving me free resources is almost never an option, especially once you figured out that I'm 4xing Hardened Jab. So if I ever build moves into my stage, that's just more attacks in my hand. So yeah, very, very good card as always. Next up, we are running 3 copies of Specialist of Sound. Specialist of Sound is probably the only defensive card in our deck. It's a 2-diff, +3 low block. It says response after you check this card, reveal the top card of your deck. That can be very relevant on, again, extending against our opponent. If we ever check this and we reveal the top card as an attack, we can search for a way to draw it. We have ways to draw on our foundations that we'll show you later on. Of course, most of our attacks draw a card in some way or another. And then it says response commit after an attack is played, it gets -3 speed. So this card is, again, what we're really trying to do. Find 1 of these, find 2 of these. Block 1 or 2 of our rivals' moves every turn. We're probably not very consistently going to block any more than that. And then we use make it 0 on our rival's most devastating move. That way it really makes it hard for them to even want to extend into us. Card is very good. Again, he has a very similar card in his kit. Nice Try. Also a very good card. It says enhance commit. This attack gets -2 speed, and it readies on at the beginning of your rival's turn, which is obviously very good. I just think that card is going to be very vulnerable to any amount of stun. More often than not, again, think Kirishima 2, we're going to be extending into our rival. A lot of the times, this is like the 1 or 2 cards that I leave readied in my staging area. Everything else is committed. I save this for last. If that happens with Nice Try, what happens if they back alley me? Then I no longer have -speed. So yeah, I just valued this more. It's definitely a change that you guys can make. I do believe that this card is honestly just overall better for trying to aggress into your rival. Avoid it just getting stunned out. Yep. We really want to be able to block at least 1 move. Next up, we are running 3 copies of Destined for Mainstream Success. This is a 1-diff, 2 mid block. Enhance flip, name a card type. Then reveal the top card of your deck. If the card matches the named type, add it to your hand. This is, again, just an extending piece, a way to draw off the top of our deck if we already know what that card is with Specialist of Sound. On our turn, we always name attack. We just, in the middle of our string, our second or third move, depending on how many hardened jabs you had in hand, we just flip this, name attack. If it is an attack, yay, I get to hit my rival with this. If it's a 5 check, yay, I know I get to play my next move and not have to commit too many resources for it. On our opponent's turn, this is the only time you'd ever name something that's not an attack. You can count the cards in your discard pile, figure out the ratio of your deck. If you're really searching for a block zone, we can flip and name Foundation for a better shot at that. More often than not, though, you're just going to name attack. You're going to try to rip an attack off the top of your deck.
Even on your opponent's turn, sometimes they'll just name attack to see if you're going to
check a 3. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. 99% of the time, you're just naming attack here. We're an aggro deck. We really just want to draw as many of those as we can. Next up, 3 copies of Self-Sacrifice. Card is very good. 1 diff, 1 low block. It says enhance, destroy 1 foundation. This attack gets +1 or -1 damage. This card is honestly super relevant on our character, and I'll go into that at the end of this a little bit. End of talking about this. First up, the most relevant case for this is it keeps us out of deadlock. We're an aggro character. We still don't want to be going into deadlock randomly against certain symbols. Anybody playing Vile Seizing is not really an option for us.
You are playing for the turn 3-4.
Yeah. We're trying to survive. Our deck builds 1,000,000 foundations, guys. The good symbol, that's just what it does. It builds 9-10 foundations by turn 2. Sometimes we have more relevant foundations in our hand that we want to build. That would build us into deadlock. This takes us back out of it on our rival's turn. Very, very important piece. Its +1 damage is relevant pretty often. We get to blow up committed foundations for additional damage on our kill turns. And then its -1 damage is pretty relevant, especially in this character. A lot of the times a rival is going to try to save buttons after we've zeroed their move. They'll do their characters enhanced. They'll make this a 7-8 damage thing. We'll zero it out. Then they'll use self-sacrifice for a damage. They'll flip something for a damage. This mitigates that a lot. Like, oh yeah, I super don't want this move to hit. Things like Electric Jolt, if they find a way to give Electric Jolt damage after we've zeroed it, we really don't want that move to hit us at all. So again, a way to mitigate what our rival is able to interact with us with our Make It Zero enhance. Next up, more drawing cards. We have 3 copies of Passing the Torch. Once again, I am used to, and most players are used to, playing a good symbol character that has draw on their face. All Might 3 has been the most relevant deck in the format for that. Because of that, this card is a 2 diff +3 mid block, and it says enhance commit. Either draw 1 card, or if you have no cards in hand, draw 2 cards. Very, very good card in our deck, both offensively and defensively. Several times in testing, I've drawn a grip of 6 attacks. I've played them all. I've left up Specialist of Sound and Passing the Torch, left up a few foundations. Commit and draw 2 cards is insane on my rival's turn. Sometimes you can even discard your hand for Texas Smashes combo, like discard enhance, commit, draw 2 cards, very good. Even drawing 1 card, a 1-for-1 exchange, is very good when we're hunting for that last move or that last block that we need to survive this turn.
Or if you've seen the top of your deck.
Yeah, if we know what it is with Specialist of Sound. There's cards remaining in our deck that add a momentum to the top of our deck. This is the main way that we get that off the top. So yeah, definitely want to be running Passing the Torch in a 6-hander. They do still run into problems of we didn't draw the nuts, so that helps that. Next up, we're running 3 copies of You're Finished. 0 diff +3 low block. This says enhance flip. If the top card of your discard pile is a copy of this attack, draw 1 card. So what that means is if I played Back Alley Haymaker and Back Alley Haymaker's on the top of my discard pile, I get to flip and draw a card. Very, very good. And it has a very relevant deadlock enhance. Deadlock enhance commit 1 rival foundation. Card is insane, guys. If your rival goes to 11, we get to commit their most important piece. We get to commit release, commit their copy of Passing the Torch. Very, very good deadlock. The good symbol didn't have a lot of that outside of pull no punches before League of Villains came out. So yeah, very relevant deadlock piece. And more often than not, if you want to, you can force the enhanced flip on it. Again, with back alley, we poke them out with back alley, snap it to our momentum. On our next turn, we poke out with back alley again, EX2. Oh, back alley's on the top of my deck. Flip. Now I get to draw 2 cards off of this back alley haymaker.
And even on your extending turn, guys, remember that when you use Capture Evildoers, when a bunch of cards go into your discard at the same time, you choose
Yeah, yep, yeah. So you get to just honestly force that exchange if you'd like to. So, yeah. Very, very good card. Very good 0 diff. Helps us extend out on our opening build turns. Next up, card that we've already talked about, Pull No Punches. 3xing Pull No Punches here. This is our only 3 diff in our deck, 2 high block. It says Enhance Destroy, so it destroys itself, to add 1 punch attack from your card pool to your momentum. Very, very good text, guys. This is the main reason that we're running the card. Really helps us extend on our rival. If you're planning on using that enhance, if you're planning on using it to extend, we always use it just on the second move that we've played. Back alley, hardened jab, blow this up, snap back alley to our momentum. That saves us a +1 progressive on the rest of our moves played, which is insane. I've turned to so many people with this deck by simply just having this card in my opening rip. So we're 3xing it in 50 cards. Its next enhance is, again, our most relevant deadlock enhance. Your punch attack gets +2 speed and gains stun 1. Insane. This card pretty much says if we have it on the field, our rival's not allowed to go into deadlock. It's not an option unless they can get out of it immediately as their first enhance. They cannot pass into us with more than 10 foundations, which is honestly fine. That's where we want them. We want them at less options, less of a wall. And if they do somehow accidentally go into deadlock against us with no way out, you're going to punish them greatly for it.
And remember, in Mirio specifically, you can use this defensively too, because, like you said, if you go into your opponent's attack turn
with no
momentum,
momentum, we can block with an attack. Yep, 100%. You can block with the Texas Smash that you were sculpting, snap it to your momentum, and now your rival's probably incapable of stealing that one from you. So yeah, very, very good card in Mirio. Very good card for the punch package in general. Next up, we have our 2ofs guys. I guess I did have a second defensive piece, even though I've used this more offensively recently. You Are So Obvious. 2 diff +3 low block. This guy says Enhance Destroy. Return this attack to its printed speed. If it is a punch attack, it gets +2 damage. Its second enhance is Enhance Destroy. Return this attack to its printed damage. If it is a punch attack, it gets +2 speed. Obviously, very good both offensively and defensively in our deck. I have personally ended up using it more offensively on my turn 2, turn 3. It's just another 2 speed, another 2 damage. But if we've already zeroed out, like say you're going up against Jiro, we've zeroed out 1 home run comet. Jiro always has that second home run comet. Now we say Enhance Destroy, yeah, I'll take 4. Which is still very good. It gives us a pseudo second use of our character for the most part. Very, very relevant defensively. And even if we're not using it defensively, it is super relevant offensively since it gives our punch attack +2 speed or +2 damage. So you play Texas Smash, you can reset its damage to 3 before using its main enhance. Give it 2 speed, then use its combo enhance. There's a lot of applications to use this card offensively. And then the best one defensively is to just reset your opponent's big move. Next up, Manly Passionate Guy. Man, I forgot. I have more defense in this deck than I thought, guys. Manly Passionate Guy is a 1 diff +3 low block. It says Response Flip. After you block with a foundation, build it. Very, very good. Very good to build on our opening turn and hold Pull No Punches. Pull No Punches are +2 high, so we don't have to pay the cost of building out a 3 diff. We can instead build it in for free after we've blocked with it. Really good lineup with like Specialist of Sound. We give -3 speed. We block with one of our foundations, build it in. Super good to punish our opponent on their turn. A lot of the time, if you have several copies of this, this will be like my opponent's main target for me to like flip or destroy it. which is also pretty solid because then they're not destroying one of our higher costed foundations. And then even with that, a lot of the time it may not even be worth it to poke into me. If you only have one attack and you see this on my field, you really don't want me to build an additional resource, so you just build and pass. Again, this card can bring a lot of just good interactions. It makes your opponent, puts them on a little bit awkward of a state when we have several of these in the field. So yeah, Chew of Manly Passionate Guy, always feels good to run that card. Next up, we have High Value Target. Another pretty good defensive piece and also a piece to stop our foundations from getting destroyed. It's a 1-diff plus 3 low block. It has a static. When committing cards to pass a check to play a block, this card counts as 2 foundations. So obviously very solid. If we're blocking on a 5 and check a 3, we just have to commit one of these to pass that check. Super good interaction. And it has a very relevant response. Before one of your foundations would be destroyed due to a rival effect, destroy this foundation instead.
Protects more important pieces.
Yeah, protects our pull no punches, protects our You're So Obviouses from getting destroyed. We just get to respond and destroy the 1-diff instead. Very, very good. We're running it as a 2 of. More often than not, you'll see one of it. But again, we're using these couple defensive pieces to just survive the turn 2, survive their turn 3 if we have to wait till turn 4. The character does have survivability. There's many different avenues that you can go down with him. He's definitely not a one-trick pony. He has cards that he can defend with. I've defended until turn 5 as this deck very, very easily with these cards. Last couple cards here. First up, we're running 1 copy of Celebrity Status. This is my little spice to the deck. I've loved this card forever. It has never not existed in my good punch builds. It is a 1-diff, 2 mid-block. It says Enhance Flip. Add one of your momentum to the top of your deck. So this is just a card to pay back attacks for us. Like we explained earlier with Passing the Torch, with things like Passing the Torch, Destined for Mainstream, or even against several of our attacks. When we play those things out, we can flip Celebrity Status, snap back alley to the top of our deck, redraw that same back alley, play it again against our rival. Feels very good. Building this on your turn 2, on your turn 3 really tells your rival, I have a guaranteed move in my hand now, right? If I draw 1 attack, it's actually I'm going to draw 2 attacks. Very solid. Generally, I run it as more than a 1 of. We just needed 1 more spam, so it's just the card that I chose. Our character doesn't have draw on face, so it makes it a little bit rougher to run. But we have so much draw in the deck that if you find the 1 of, you will find a way to draw your momentum. Our last card, the one card that I promised that had Mirio's face on it, what I feel is the most broken card for the character out of his Clash deck, is Lemillion of the Big 3 itself. 2-diff plus 2 high block. It's unique, which is why we're only running it as a 1 of since we're in a 50-card deck. This card is insane, guys. It has 3 different enhances on it, and we're going to use 2 of them for every attack. It says enhance your high attack gets +1 damage, enhance your mid attack gets +1 speed, and enhance your low attack gets +1 damage. Card is absolutely nuts. My biggest example would be Back Alley Haymaker. If we play Back Alley when this card is on our field, it starts as a mid, so it's now a 5 mid for 5. We change it to a low, it's a 5 low for 7. It's now a low, we give it 1 damage, it's now a 5 low for 8. This card is almost always a +1/+1 in our deck. Sometimes it's just a +2 damage. Insane. No cost whatsoever. It's just a constant. This will always be the card that your rival interacts with. If you have it on your field, your rival's next step is to, how do I kill this? How do I destroy it? How do I flip it? It really changes the game state. You could easily run this card as a 2 of in your version. It's something that I've definitely considered. It is way more impactful than you'd think. In our card game, +1/+1 is insane when it's progressively across all of our attacks. So yeah, guys, that's the deck. That's the last card. This deck is very, very fun. It is, like we said in the beginning of the video, probably one of the best decks in the format right now, I believe. There's a lot of different avenues that you can take this deck down. I do believe that the punch package is like the most simplistic. It is the easiest. It's going to give you the biggest damage output. But he does have Air and Chaos. Edgar's been working on a Pillar Swing deck. Pillar Swing's his favorite card. Sure is. And you sure do get to make that card a low as well. But But yeah, guys, very, very pretty easy deck to run, hard deck to master. Your biggest since this is making it meta, we'll run through some of the plays, some of the struggles in the deck. Your biggest struggle is honestly going to be when to call your 0 in hands. There is so many different decks out there that you'd be amazed how many different ways you use this. There's certain decks that I'll use it on the very first electric jolts you play. If you don't have any damage pump, I'm just going to say you don't get to add this card to your momentum. It's going to be my choice 10 out of 10 times. I will just kill your electric jolt early on. In that same vein, if it's not early in the game, if you've built a board state, I now have to wait until you try to hit me with home run comment. Sometimes I have to wait till you try to hit me with your second home run comment. There's so many different ways that this game can either win or lose you the game so easily. So keep an eye out. Really iron up your lines. Iron up your opponent's lines. Really understand the deck that they're playing, what they're trying to do. And again, we don't have to be so degenerate as to not block a single move. We have so much draw on the deck that we can easily hit them with 3 or 4 attacks, leave 2 in hand, and have a pretty ready board state, a pretty good board state to defend with. That's really what we're trying to do as the character, is punish them, and punish them even further by telling them, yes, I'm now a defensive deck. I'm now going to block 2 moves, and then I'm going to 0 out your 3rd. It's going to take 4 attacks to ever even touch me. So yeah, one of the hardest things to learn, but again, easy to pick up, hard to master. Really figure that out. The zone change, again, is very, honestly, the simplest part of him. You just have to read your rival's deck, really understand what block zones they're low on, and what block zones are their worst. I recently had a discussion in one of the forums. That's like one of the biggest things you can do, especially against like Momo. Look at her discard pile. If she has like a quick create in her thing, if she has a rising starlet that she can pick up, but she only has access to a +3 low block, we just name low. Yeah, pick up your +3 low block. Go ahead and try to block this. Other than that, the attacks are pretty simple. Your lines are going to be pretty obvious in the deck. The only lines that are a bit rough, we are a combo deck, so if we ever draw a number of Valiant Assault and Texas Smash, that's probably a build turn for you 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Unless you've drawn like 2 Texas and 2 Valiant Assaults, you're just going to build and pass.
Unlike our last video with Bakugo, where you can just degenerate start playing.
Yes, yeah, and just hope that you draw into them.
Yeah.
That's not what this deck's trying to do. If your deck tells you to build, your deck tells you to build. Again, we're not so degenerate that we can't defend. We have so much still defense in this 50-card list. But yeah, guys, that's the deck. Let's get into the sideboard for you, since we do have one of those this time around. Our sideboard kind of focuses on the fact that we are a combo deck, so our opponent can interrupt us. Our sideboard's trying to punish that interruption as much as possible.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to deal with the combo theme right now.
For sure. And Runaway exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so many things like that
so
get shoved into your card pool. Yeah.
A lot of decks are even running sticky balls.
Sticky balls, learning the standards that make me play out a foundation. So yeah, guys, we're going to set our deck aside over here. We'll keep the character still up here for you guys. Our sideboard, 10 cards always, guys. If you didn't know that about our game, we can side in cards in games 2 and 3. Now in the rules, we have to tell our rival how many we're siding in, how many we're siding out. That's honestly super cool in this deck. A little bit of spice for you guys. If your opponent tells you that they're siding 7 cards, whatever block zone you were naming, we're now naming the opposite.
Yep.
If we were hitting them with low and they side 7 cards, they probably sided low blocks into you guys. We're naming high now. Man, sucks. First up, we have Cheerleader. We're running 2 copies of Cheerleader in our sideboard. This is a more defensive card. We don't want to mainboard it. This card is a little bit difficult for us to run, I won't lie. It's a 2-diff, +3 mid-block. It says response, remove, discard 1 momentum after an attack is played at gains flash. Obviously very potentially difficult to run in our character, since if we only have 1 momentum, I'm almost never activating this ability. I'm going to activate this one instead. There is a world where I activate this one. Again, there's certain decks that you have to flash their thing. But if we ever have 2, 3, we are almost never like we're hitting them with so many moves at such an off zone. There's almost no way that your rival is going. You're going to probably take 3 to 4 momentum per turn. Your rival's not going to take that back from you. It's more often than not impossible. So yeah, we sideboard this card against a lot of decks. Any decks that are trying to go high with their moves, the Detroit Smash list, the Staff Strike Giro lists. We want to flash those moves instead of just zeroing them. Zeroing out Staff Strike feels bad because they're just going to play another 2 attacks against you.
One of them is probably going to be Staff Strike.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to flash that move instead, remove it, and now this is just a 3 mid for 6 that I can block. So yeah, very relevant card in the meta still right now. One of Good's like hard defense abilities. Next up, we're citing 2 Lost in Thought. Lost in Thought is a 2 diff plus 3 high. It says enhanced remove, add 1 foundation from each player's stage to their hand. Both players build 1 card from their hand face down. This card has a lot of applications. The main reason that we've chosen to sideboard it is, frankly, there's a lot of new cards in the set that I just simply don't know the interactions with. I can't figure it out so early on. Tomorrow is the webcam RLE. I won't be able to figure out in testing by then how certain cards interact with each other. This card is a bailout to that. If I see an interaction that I absolutely hate, I can't allow, I get to side in Lost in Thought and just rip it off their stage and don't have to deal with it anymore. And then it has offensive and defensive applications. Defensively, it picks you up a block zone that you don't have in hand. Offensively, we're a hard and jab deck. It may just pick us up an attack. For us, it's a 1-for-1 exchange on committed foundations, where our rival will hard lose a piece out of their deck. They'll lose a readied piece that's helping them. So very good card against a lot of situations. Next up, strictly for our mirror match, we have 2 Evade and Copy. This is a 2 diff plus 2 mid block. Its enhanced doesn't matter since it's a mono only enhance. Its static is what we're looking at. When you attempt to block with this card, return your rival's attack to its printed speed and zone. And zone is what matters here. Decks like me are going to be making back alley haymaker 4 low for 7. This says it's actually 4 mid for 7. I'm going to full block it. This card is very relevant in a couple of other matchups. Again, that Staff Strike Giro list that we mentioned. Her speed is ramping so hard that we really want a way to reduce it. And then True Farm All Might is ever present. And this card completely destroys that deck. Lets us block Detroit Smash without having to have a momentum to zero it out. Next up, my favorite thing, the card that we talked about to destroy decks that are trying to destroy our combo is Airstream Driver. We're running 2 copies of Airstream Driver. This is a 5 diff, 1 low block. It has a very relevant keyword of Slam. Our character procs off of Punch and Slam. It says enhance, discard 1 card from your rival's card pool. This attack gets plus 3 speed and plus 3 damage. Enhance, discard 1 momentum, seal 1 rival asset or foundation. The most relevant ability is that top one. This card is mostly coming in for things like So Manly, things like Runaway. Runaway plays itself into the card pool and then floods my card pool. So they're trying to stop, they do it on my first Texas Smash, trying to stop a second one. So instead I now just play this on a 8. This comes in as a 3 high for 10. It's actually a 6 high for 13 after I've kicked the Runaway out of the card pool. And now it's a 6 low for 15, which is probably more than what you are currently at health-wise. So yeah, this is the one card that we get to bring in to try to mitigate that a little bit, try to stop them from just completely ruining our combo. It is, again, a bit rough to play. It's a 5 diff that you're actually going to be playing on a 7, on an 8. But yeah, very, very relevant in those matchups. And it slams, so we get to change its zone.
This is definitely your turn 3, turn 4 kill.
Yes, for sure. Yep, absolutely. So. When your opponent thinks that their 1 out is Runaway, we tell them that that wasn't an out. It just powered up our Airstream Driver. Next up, we have 1 copy of One for All Full Cowling 5% Strike. This is the SR from set 1. This is 5 diff, 1 low block, 4 high for 6 punch. It says enhance, discard your hand, draw 3 cards. That can be relevant to a degree. If this is the only card we draw and we really think we need to kill our rival here, maybe we draw 3 more attacks or a couple attacks that draw us more cards. Its next enhance is the real reason that we're choosing to sideboard the card. Enhance, if this attack is not blocked, commit your rival's character. This card is very good into the Recovery Girls of the world, the Nomus of the world. That's like the 2 most relevant matchups that you'll see this card come into play with. Yeah, so against Recovery Girl, against Nomu, it says if you don't try to block this, you're going to die this turn. I'm going to kill you. Committing those characters is super relevant. Nomu, I don't think is a big struggle for this character to fight. He always has to commit a foundation. He always has to make our move 6. And again, by no means do we have to kill them on turn 2. We built the deck to try to accidentally turn to them. Recovery Girl is a different story. She might be an actually difficult matchup for this character, so I wanted a piece to try to mitigate that as much as possible.
There are times when she tries to, reduce its damage and still take it.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. This. Yep. 100%. Absolutely. Last but not least, we're citing the 4th Capture Evildoers. Again, this card is so necessary in our character. This card comes in almost always against like air decks that are also hungry for momentum. We want to try to rip it from them and use it ourselves. This comes in probably against the mirror match, against the good mirror match. Again, in the mirror match, you want to keep your rival off momentum as much as possible. And if you're playing this character tomorrow, you should expect and test into the mirror match. It's been some of the best testing that I've had all of the last couple weeks since the set dropped. You will fight this character. This is a very known entity. So yeah, that's the last of our sideboard, guys. That's the deck. Let us know in the comments what you want to see next. We'll take data from this coming up event and really show you guys some of those decks as well. Any closing thoughts, Edgar?
Yeah, we want to know what you guys want to see. That we've got a few suggestions lined up, but if there's something you guys really want to see, let us know. We are down to build decks. I build decks all the time. I'll be going through some of the other characters that maybe haven't been requested, but we think are cool enough to, maybe show up at an event, and we'll definitely show you guys that. We want to see as many people playing as many different spicy things as we can.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys want to see out of Making It Meta. We're always taking requests. Join our Discord. We have a Making It Meta thread there specifically for those requests. That's the great thing about our card game. The great thing about this series is that truly anything can thrive in this format. It's been proven time and time again. Tetsu took it down last month. Made it to top 16, top 8. Toru 2 took down the entire event. Nobody saw that coming. So yeah, this game is wide open. You can always take a character to the next level, and we're here to help you guys do that. So join our Discord. Let us know what you want to see out of Making It Meta, and thanks for joining us today, guys.
Bye.